everybody, welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a great day this day after Easter. Today I wanted to show you how to create this background effect using Oxide inks and water with some embossing powder and a pre-picked focal point. So without any further ado, let's get started on the video. So here are the supplies that you're going to need. I've got my distress inks in Wilted Violet, Picked Raspberry, Tumbled Glass, Carved Pumpkin, Twisted Citron, and Squeezed Lemonade. Now you can use any color combination that you like, but I'm trying to get a pretty decent kind of a rainbow sunset effect. You're also going to need some kind of embossing powder. I'm going to use this Simon Says Ultrafine and Cream that I got in a kit recently. You're going to need a squeeze dropper, some water. I just got mine in a little, I don't know, lid. Gonna need your distress sprayer. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. I've got 2 of the circle dies from my Hero Arts Infinity die set. Got my focal point, which I pre-made for you. This is from the Thinlits collection from Tim Holtz. Gonna need your anti-static powder. You need embossing pen. I use the Emboss It from Ranger. You're gonna need some sort of an embossing ink. This is Versamark and it's a small stamp pad. It's handy. I'm going to use these full-size sticky notes, but you can use any kind of masking paper or just circle cut a die. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mask with that for the small circle. So let's get started on that. First things first, you're going to want to take your focal point and lay it on the paper, and I'm going to do, I know I'm going to be trimming this down, so I want to make sure I leave room. I'm going to do the mountain, tree's going to go here, tree's gonna go here, that tree is gonna go here, so I have everything kind of centered out, and then you're gonna decide where you want your sun to be. So I want my sun to be right about there. So I'll leave this here, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna cut this out on my die cutting machine. Okay, so here we have our circle. Let me put this back where I want it to be so that I can aim, kind of. And I'm not really worried about where these are sitting right now because I'm going to move them here in a minute. And I want the sun to be kind of going down. I want to kind of get it centered. And I'll just kind of lay this on here real quick. Move all the stuff and lay down this mask. And what we're doing is we're creating a resist with the embossing powder, and I'm just going to take my little Versamark and I'm just going to dab it on here, give it a good rub, and then I'm going to leave my sticky note on there, and I'm going to pour on a little bit of my embossing powder, and I forgot to get my tray out. Dump off the excess, and I'll be right back after I emboss this. Okay, so now that I've embossed that, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this larger circle die and I'm going to center it around there, just like, yay. And see, my paper's kind of warped from embossing. That's okay. Gonna get really warped. By the way, this is Tim Holtz Distress Heavy Watercolor, And I'm using heavy because we are going to be using a lot of water. So I'm just going to kind of tape this down a little bit here. I'm wanting to trace it, or I'm going to fight with it, one of the two. I just don't want it to move on me while I'm trying to trace it. And I'm going to trace the inside of the circle. I am going to use my anti-static powder just because I want to be able to ink everything else. And give it a little bit of a brush. I think I'll just blow on it. I'm going to take this embossing pen and I'm just going to carefully trace. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, I mean, it's nature. I'm going to trace my embossing pen around this circle. Oh, see, it moved on me. That's okay. Move that. And throw my embossing powder on. This is going to create our little sort of sundog. You see? Now I'll be right back while I emboss that. There we go. You can see that impression. And now comes the fun part. So I've got my water bottle, got my drippy, and I'm going to need paper towels, lots of them. You want clean ones for your colors, and you want a clean one to lay down on your surface because there's going to be some dripping involved here. And I'm going to start with my squeezed lemonade, and I'm just using my little scrapbook.com finger blenders. And I'm going to start making my sun rays. I'm going to move that stuff out of my way here for a second while I make the ray. And these are going to go one at a time. So I know I want my brightest part to be at the top. That's where I want it. And all I'm going to do is just kind of make that motion there and make it kind of fan out. And I want it pretty heavy. Okay? So there's my yellow. And now I'm going to take my sprayer and I'm going to tilt the paper and make thick sprays. So just slowly drip that down, and then I'm going to take my dropper with water and I'm going to make a directed drip here. And you want to tap off the edge here. And then you want to take a clean paper towel and remove some of that color, like so. Okay? And don't like the way it looks? Got too much water on? Put some more ink. Very forgiving right here if you're using heavy watercolor. And I really want my drip here to be directed, like so. So I'm just slowly squeezing that little pipette and dripping it down, and then press to get the excess water off. There, we've got color one. Okay, so the next color is going to be the carved pumpkin, and I want to mirror this on either side of my yellow ray. So I'm just going to bring it out, and it's up to you. You can blend it in a little bit as well, but you just want to kind of get some pretty heavy ink on there, both sides. Does it have to be even? Nah. It's nature. Alright. So now you see I've got my next ray situation here. And I'm going to go ahead and just wipe off the excess ink from the sun here. And I'm going to take my pipette and I'm going to make some directed drips. And I want one in between there. Before I do the other side, I'm going to tap that off. You see how we're getting those color striations in there? Same on this side. And you can tilt it more and just let it drip on its own. This is just something fun to do. No, don't take it serious. Let it sit for a few seconds and then tap it off. See how we're starting to get that effect? Okay. So next I'm going to go in with some picked raspberry. I'm going to give this just a little dry here. Nothing big. Go with my picked raspberry. And I'm going to do the same, kind of a mirror effect. And I want this color to be the horizon. Yep, blend it up a little bit. Do the same for the other side. Try and keep them sort of fairly even with each other. If you don't, you don't. No biggie. Okay. And I need a little bit more color in there. I like it pretty dark. If you do this with pastel type colors, you kind of get that ethereal feel. Alrighty. And I'm going to take my pipette. And again, you can do this just with the water sprayer. It's just, you got to hold it really close and just give it 1, 2, let it drip down. You could even do it with a paintbrush and a lot of water on it. And I want this strip to go this way. And see, this is why you want the paper towel. You kind of want to tap that off so that it doesn't pull up on the edge, even though you might be trimming your card. You have to decide where you want to trim it or if you want to trim it. And I like that just the way it is, so I am not going to dab anything off. I'll just have fun with it. And drive that drip, drive this drip, drive another drip, tap them off. Yeah, see, isn't that pretty? And now that's pretty wet, so you give it just a quick dry because your paper will kind of start to try and disintegrate on you. Don't worry about the stuff that you've gotten on your sun because it'll clean off. It's a resist that embossing powder will resist it. I'm just going to take a little bit of water, spray it on my paper towel. And when I say a little, I mean a little. And just kind of clean that off. See? All right. Now, let's go in with our wilted violet. And I'll go there. Blend it up a little bit with that picked raspberry. Yep, whoops, I made a boo-boo. That's okay. Drip. I want a drip going there. I want definitely a drip along the edge. Another drip going here. And just drip, drip, drip. And tap, tap, tap. And this one, I believe I'll go ahead and dab. There we go. If you dab, your color's less intense. So the point is here is to aim your paper the way you want your drip to go. Here we go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, I like to get the drips in between. Yeah, that one's... Ooh. Tap it off, tap it off, tap it off. That drives that color. Give it a little wipe on the sun. And give it just a little dry because it's pretty wet. A little more water on a clean part of my paper towel. Clean that ultraviolet off my sun there. And next I'm going to go in with the tumble glass. And y'all, this ink one is almost empty, and I do not have a re-inker for it. I have one on order. Apparently I use this one a lot. So I'm going to really saturate my little sponge here. And I'm going to drag down. See, I'm not going to get barely any ink on there. And do a mirror effect over on this side. It's okay that I came up into here because the last one I'm going to come in with is my Twisted Citron. But boy, oh boy, I need my re-inker. Coming back in with the pipette. And I can see the direction I need my water to go. Definitely want to blend these two together. Tap it off. Maybe a couple of drips there. Tap it off. You just want to, oh, it's like tie-dye, huh? I definitely want to lighten that up in the center there because I'm going to be putting a light color. Yeah. Dry it off. Okay, and now we're going to come in with the Twisted Citron. And I'm going to come right from here all the way over, like A. Oops, almost dumped out my water. And going in with my drips. We'll start right with the center drip. I want those to blend. So the cool thing about Oxide inks is you can dry them. They're dryable. And I believe I will give that one a dab. All right. Okay, so here is the bright version. Now we're going to dull that down a bit because it looks cool. So I'm going to take my water sprayer. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to wipe each time. I still want to direct towards the direction I need the drips to be, and then I'm just going to dab quickly here. See, that second wetting is everything. See how we get that much lighter striation. I did not want that green to go in there, but it's okay. Let me dab quickly. There we go, that gets it right on. Okay, next section. Again, you kind of want to do this a little section at a time because you want to aim your water and you want to aim your paper. Yep, sorry about that, I bumped the camera. There we go. And again, we're not spraying the whole thing. You could if you wanted to. We're just trying to make sure that our ink is dripping down towards where we need it to be and tapping off. And I got this pretty heavy here on this purple, so I really want to calm that down. I want it dripping into the red as well, or the pick raspberry. There we go. Yeah. Almost done with this part. The rest is a piece of cake. You don't get a lot of variation with the yellow. I'm going to just bring some of that carved pumpkin over as best I can onto the yellow. There we go. All right, let's get that dry, and I will pause the video while I dry this. All right, y'all. There's our really super colorful sunset. And now I'm going to again place my focal point where I want it. Want it right about, you know what? I think I'll trim this. No, I'll trim it after. I might lose some of my mountain. That's okay. So I'm going to use my Reptile adhesive. I keep this in a smaller bottle because my big bottle doesn't have a little needle tip. And let me just squirt some of this out off to the side, because whenever you've got that pin in there, I don't have any stainless steel pins, so it rusts inside the glue and it gets an ugly color. It won't hurt anything, but it's not pretty to look at. Now I'm just going to go ahead and blob some glue on, and I'm going to place my mountain, and I just colored this with black soot, distress ink, and distress oxide. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and just kind of, and you could raise that up if you want to, but for the sake of simplicity, we're going to leave it flat. Yeah, see, I got it crooked. That's the story of my life. Well, I'll fix that when I trim it, I guess. And I'm going to add the happy little trees. I lost a tree somewhere. Where'd you go? There you are. Thing you need to remember about this, when you're gluing over oxides, if the glue leaks out, it will change the color of the oxide. There we go. All right, let me trim this out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've trimmed this out and kind of fixed where I made a boo-boo there, and I've trimmed it out to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to mat that on a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 side fold card base. And before I do that though, I think I'm going to just grunge out the edges a bit with some black soot distress oxide. And I really want to not get a lot, so I'm just going to carefully start off the paper and bring it in. It's just going to frame the image a little better. And notice I left a lot blank there. That's gonna most likely be for a place for a sentiment, or it's just gonna be some empty space. I don't know. Y'all know how I feel about sentiments. Not that I'm not sentimental, but I'm really not. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. And I'm going to take my ink and just go, sorry about bumping the camera there. Just go along the edges here so that you don't see that white paper core when I put it down onto the black cardstock. Okay, clean up my mess here. Yeah, I love it. It's great. Okay, what I want to do here is I'm going to get out my little Simon Hurley blocky thingies, acrylic blocks, thank you, and I'm going to again use my reptile adhesive, not too close to the edge. I don't want it to goober out onto my black cardstock. That's gross. It's hard to get it off. The stuff dries clear, but it's not matte. And I love to actually use the Distress Collage medium, but I cannot get it to come out of the bottle with the skinny little tip like that. It just kills my hands. So I'm just going to place these on here, put a little bit of pressure, not too much. Again, I don't want my glue oozing out. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now off camera, I've taken my Tim Holtz Tiny Text stamp and picked a sentiment and stamped it out with Versamark, and then embossed it with white embossing powder. I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, I don't like that. How about here? No. Let's go here. Just leave that little bit of space in between there. Oh. Yeah. And I believe I'll just trim this sentiment a little bit more. Now, here's where you get to watch me cut things off. That's what I do. I'm just going to push this in here like a, and try and get it so that I hope you can see what I'm doing here. So that the word is straight. I'll just trim some of that off. Nope, I didn't get it straight. Oh, good grief, this is hard to do. But me with scissors, yeah, no, not happening. We're going to put me with some scissors here, see where I get. Because I really want this pretty close. Yeah, not bad. Not the worst. I just want a tiny sliver. There we go. And am I going to pop this up? Nope, I'm not going to pop it up. I'm going to make this an easy to mail. This would be a good card for the Cards for Kindness with scrapbook.com. Nice flat card, easy to mail. But still, with a lot of impact. And I'm going to go ahead and use my reptile adhesive. I'm going to just dab it a bit so it doesn't squirt out. And I'm going to try and aim for the middle here. Y'all know me. Or if you don't know me, you're going to... I can't get anything straight. There we go. There we go. Now you could place some little gems on here or some Nouveau drops. I'm going to leave it just like it is. I'm just perfectly happy with it right here. Hey, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I want to let you know that all the supplies used in today's video will be listed in the description box below. And if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, and come back and visit me when I make another Fun with Oxides video. Have a great day.